All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to crack a secret code, a code you've probably seen 100 times, but maybe never fully understood. The 5 key accents in the French language. You've seen them, right? These little marks floating over the letters in French words. And if you're like most people, you've probably thought, what on earth are these for? And do I really need to pay attention to them? Well, the answer is a huge, emphatic yes. See, these accents aren't just sprinkled on for decoration. They're actually part of a very precise system. Think of them as a cheat sheet that tells you exactly how to pronounce a word, what it means, and sometimes even a little bit about its history. So let's get ready to crack this code together. So, where do we start? Well, let's tackle the big one right away, the one that causes the most confusion, the letter E. French has not one, not two, but 3 different accents just for this single letter, and each one completely changes how it sounds. Okay, the best way to get this is just to hear it. On one side, we have the accent aigu. It gives you that bright, closed A sound. Think of the word café. Now, on the other side is the accent grave. This one is totally different. It's a more open, heavier A sound, like in the words père or mère. Just listen to the difference. A. It might seem subtle, but in French, it's everything. So, you're feeling good, right? You've got A and E. Seems simple enough. But this is French, so of course, there's a curveball. Say hello to the third E accent, the little hat, called the circonflexe. And this is where things get a little weird, because the sound that little hat makes on an E, well, it's pretty much the exact same S sound we just learned for the accent grave. I mean, listen, très, fait. Hear that? Same sound. So what's the deal? If they sound the same, why have 2 different accents? That is a fantastic question, and it's a little mystery we're going to put a pin in for now. But I promise we're coming back to it. All right, so we've seen how accents can change a letter's sound. But now let's talk about the accents that are true game changers. These guys don't just tweak the sound, they change the entire meaning of a word. Just look at the power of one tiny little mark here. Take the letter A. All by itself, it means has, like he has a book. But you slap that little accent grave on it, and boom, it suddenly means to or at. Same sound, completely different job. And it's not a one-off. This one mark is the difference between asking or versus where, or saying something is on the table versus being sure about something. These accents are definitely not optional. Okay, next up are the accents that I like to call the rule enforcers. Their whole job is to step in when the normal pronunciation rules would mess things up. They basically barge in and say, nope, you're not going to say it that way, you're going to say it my way. So let's tell the story of the CD. That's the little tail you see on the letter C. Here's the problem. In French, a C before an O is supposed to make a hard K sound. So the word for boy would be pronounced garçon, which is just wrong. The solution, French adds this clever little tail. And the result is that this new letter forces a soft S sound, giving us the correct pronunciation, garçon. It's such a simple and elegant fix. And here's another enforcer, the tréma, those 2 little dots. Think of it as a pronunciation traffic cop. It sees 2 vowels right next to each other, about to get smushed into one sound, and it blows the whistle. The classic example is Christmas, Noël. Without those dots, the O and E would blend together into Noël. But the tréma stands right in the middle and says, hey, you two, pronounce yourself separately. And that's how we get Noël. Okay, it is time. Let's solve that mystery we left hanging. Remember the circumflex, that little hat, and how we wondered why it sounds just like the other at accent? Well, it turns out the answer has nothing to do with modern sound, and everything to do with history. This accent is a total history buff. That little hat is basically a ghost. It's a linguistic fossil, hiding in plain sight inside a modern word, and it's a clue that tells us a story about the word's past. And here is the big reveal. The circumflex often marks the exact spot where a letter, usually an S, used to be in Old French but has vanished over the centuries. Look at this. The modern French word for forest is forêt. Why the hat? Because it used to be spelled forest. The word hôpital? Yep, you guessed it, it came from hospital. That accent is like a tiny gravestone for a letter that isn't there anymore. And with that, our mystery is solved. So we've cracked the code on sound changers, meaning changers, rule enforcers, and even little historical markers. Let's zoom out one last time and tie it all together. Why do these little marks matter so much? It really all comes down to this. Accents are absolutely fundamental. They're like the control panel for the whole language. They control meaning, the difference between or and where. They control pronunciation, the A of cafe versus the E of pear. And they even control grammar, turning a verb into a preposition. They aren't just an extra detail. In many ways, they are the language. So the next time you see a French word with an accent, you won't just see a squiggle anymore. You'll see a rule, you'll hear a sound, and you might even see a little piece of history. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other language secrets are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to decode them?